Hello and welcome to another Baggie Brothers video. We're talking all things Albion. First off, I'd like to just say a quick apology for not making a video for a while. Both myself and Adam have been pretty busy with a couple of things recently. In fact, one of those things is Adam actually recently got married, didn't you, bro?
I did, yeah. It was a strange old day wearing face masks and everything else, wasn't it? But we managed to get it done. So, yeah.
I think it was a good day. I think it was a good day all in all, considering
it was
everything.
A nice day. Yeah.
It went really well. And we got married. Well, we got married. You got married on the day where we played against Chelsea. And obviously the whole first half, you were like, "This is the best wedding day present ever. We're winning 3-0." And then obviously,
everything happened.
Everything happened in the second half, and it all leveled off. But there we go. And I've just started working again because the job that I do, obviously, I haven't been able to do because of lockdown, but. Recently actually just been able to start it up again. So we're sorting out our schedules. We will get back to doing some regular videos over the next month or so, but bear with us on a little bit of that. Having said that though, we did put out a little post earlier on Instagram asking for some questions for us. And we've had plenty of people coming in with some fantastic questions. Thank you very much to everyone. We've had a lot of people asking a lot of similar questions. So we've kind of lumped some of these questions together. So hopefully we'll answer everyone's questions. We'll tick all those boxes. I guess looking at the list, let's start off with your reaction to the game at the weekend against Southampton.
It's a tough one. Sam Johnson, we've been very critical of him this year. But I put a post out on Instagram the other day and I'd said I'd like to hold my hands up and say he really shut a lot of people up at the weekend because he made 3 or 4 quality, like world-class saves. And he really did keep us in the game. He was our man of the match by a long shot.
It's about time that he did something that was impressive and kept fans happy, I suppose. Yeah.
And the reaction, obviously, from what we've seen all the other fans saying as well, a lot of them have been saying, fair play, Johnson, you had a really good game, basically. So, first off, congratulations to him. Hopefully he can keep it up now and not have us so squeaky bum at the back. Southampton were just the better side, massively. You could tell they've got so much more better quality than what we had out on that pitch on that day. Conor Gallagher was injured, or was slightly ill, sorry. So that's the reason he wasn't playing, but I think he'd have probably been starting. But we just didn't look... It was a bit of a strange one, and some of Bilic's tactical decisions I thought were a bit strange as well. Bringing Robbo off and putting Hal on. I thought he'd have gone with 2 up front, brought Hal on with Robbo up front. I thought Dean Garner played quite well. When he started getting on the ball in the second half, he looked good. I don't know, we're just missing the striker, and I think that's what we're going to allude to a bit later.
It goes back to what we've been saying for ages, what a lot of West Brom fans have been saying over the last, few months, pretty much the whole of the transfer window. We need a striker. Now, obviously, the games that we've scored in, we scored some great goals against Everton. We had some good goals against Everton from Dean Garner and Pereira. We had Callum Robinson had a great time against Chelsea.
He did, he played really well.
He played fantastically. So we've got goal scorers in the team, but we don't have that out and out goal scorer, do we? Which is sort of helping us keep the balance with other teams in the league, especially the teams that have been promoted. I was looking through the transfers that both of the other promoted teams, Leeds and Fulham, have made during this window. Compared to what we've got, we've apart from like the loan people we had on loan last season, it's Keepra and Button.
And Ivanovic,
and Gallagher.
In
terms of like, actually spending money,
we've
Button
not spent
and Keepra.
any.
And both of them, I believe, both of them were cost less than $1 million each.
Yeah, they were just under.
So we've spent £2 million in this transfer window, which actually ties into, I suppose, a couple of questions we've had. We had some questions about our thoughts on transfer deadline and who would we like to sign from the Championship, seeing as that's the only place we can get players now, and do you reckon Grant's still going to come in? What's the club's ambition following this transfer window? And that ties in nicely because, yeah, we haven't got that out-and-out goal scorer. We've got, as we've said so many times, the players that we've got at the club that are strikers, Austin, Kanu, and Zohore, just aren't good enough at this level. And
No.
I do think we desperately need to get someone in the very small amount of time we've got now to sort out a player from the EFL.
It's the 16th of October, isn't it? Next Friday, I think the deadline is.
Yeah, it's
not long. So,
so let's lead into some of those things. How did you feel after our abysmal transfer deadline day?
I'm obviously, like all Albion fans, really disappointed. I was hoping for us to go out and spend another probably 20 to 30 million at least, just to show ambition that we're spending money because we want to be at the top. We want to stay in the Premier League. That's what Leeds have done. That's what Fulham have done. Even Fulham going for players like Loftus-Cheek. He's on $100,000 a week. That's what they're paying him in wages.
That's mad.
On loan. And we've got Conor Gallagher. I don't know how much his wages are, but they're nowhere near worth $100,000, and he's not as big a marquee signing as Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Look at Ross Barkley to Villa. Look at what he did the other night. He's changed Villa. He's really let Grealish have a bit more time and space because the players are more attracted to him as well now. Villa went and beat Liverpool 7-2.
Yeah.
We've got to be trying to sign some marquee players, some real well-known Premier League stars.
Yeah,
and we haven't.
Realistically, the only places we can go to get them are Bournemouth and Watford.
Yeah,
really, seeing as they're the only, because I know Norwich got relegated as well, but they weren't really a Premier League staple. Those two teams have been there for a while, so they're the only places in the EFL that have got, Premier League quality players.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I think most of yesterday I was teaching nearly the whole day, but every time I got a break, I was checking News Now, see if we'd got any signings. I was having a look on Sky Sports, looking at, scrolling through who'd come through. And just every single time, all I was thinking was, come on, please just have a little thing pop up. West Bromwich Albion have signed blah. And I would have any name, literally any name, whether I knew the player or not, I would have just been grateful and been like, oh, okay, cool. Well, at least they'd done something. But the fact that there was no signings yesterday, I think, and this ties in with another question we had, obviously, about the club's ambition. I think it shows a lack of ambition from the owners. I think they're obviously, we got that incredibly large amount of money for getting promoted, and it seems like with most of it, they've just put it straight into their pockets. And I know we spent a good bit of money this transfer window. We paid for Dean Garner and Pereira, and we got like the aforementioned players that we mentioned earlier, but we've not spent as big as, I think accumulatively our spend is about the same as one player as Leeds' spend for Rodrigo was, or Rodri, or whatever his name is. They spent 40 million or whatever it was on him.
Yeah,
might not be that much, but I feel like we've spent that much on a group of players than they spent on one. But they've got a striker out of it, and we've just got all the players we had on loan last year. So it's been really disappointing.
It's been good to get Dean Garner and Pereira permanent. I'm happy with them. I really am.
Absolutely.
Krov, I think there's an option to buy him at the end of this as well. So again, I was happy when he came in because he boosts the squad morale. He can tell that he lifts really everybody
here, doesn't he?
Yeah, he lifts everyone around him as well. He brings everyone up, which will hopefully help us in the Premier League. Ivanovic, he's he was a very experienced Premier League player. Can he still do it at the level? Is he still good enough? I don't know. I mean, he played it for Zenit. Was it Zenit he played for in Russia?
Zenit last year.
So it's a different league, isn't it? So
very different pace. I mean, he has played in the Prem, so hopefully he can adjust back to it fairly quickly. But playing for West Brom is very different from playing to Chelsea. That Chelsea team he was part of were league dominant.
If he made a mistake, Terry was next to him, or Aspilicueta was next to him, or a world-class player.
They had Petr Cech in goal to save it, not Sam Johnson.
So it's a bit of a different story for him, but I don't know. It does show that we're not really going out and trying to get players that will make us better, which is a bit disappointing. Yeah.
I mean, we've basically got the same squad we had last year in the Championship, which, you know, we had a couple of fortunate games against some Prem sides in the Cup last year, but nothing that's going to tell us that we're going to stay up.
No, I think the other thing as well is defensively, we do not look strong at all. But saying that, every club in the Premier League doesn't look that good. I mean, Leicester shipped 3 against West Ham. Man
United conceded 6 from Tottenham. Liverpool got battered.
And the week before, Man City got battered by Leicester 5-2. It's just, I think defending has just gone out the window.
It's a strange time as well. I think a lot of people, obviously, you know, maybe because of the lockdown, a lot of people lost fitness, and who knows, maybe that really affected the defenders.
Yeah, which is why I think we need to get someone in like this week. If we could get someone in this week, that gives us a good 2 weeks or a week and a half for him to get fully match fit. If we're going for a Grant or a Deeney that haven't even played yet, we can get them training and get them fit, ready for the next game. This is a perfect opportunity.
Good point as well. Both of the players that we're after haven't played in the Championship yet.
No, we've only got 4 players out on international duty. It's Robinson, O'Shea. Who are the other 2? Oh, Howe was out on loan, but he's broke his arm now. So best of recovery with that as well. And our Polish runner, Grzycki, yeah. So they're the only ones that are out on loan, out on international duty, sorry. So it's a good opportunity for the squad to get fit, because we still don't look fit.
No.
So, yeah, do you want to go into the players that we think we should try and go for now?
Well, yeah, if we did have a question about who would we sign, and I mean, if we're looking at championship teams, I guess, like I say, the only 2 places I would be looking would be Bournemouth and Watford, and also, you know, looking at the free market, because I think we can still sign free players, as far as I know.
Yeah, you can sign a free agent, yeah.
So, I mean, if I could pick any players, I'd say Josh King from Bournemouth, I think would be a great signing. I don't know whether we'd be able to get him, because, you know, he's a good player, and I think there's a couple of other Prem sides, like our bitter enemies at the moment, Crystal Palace.
Who sign everyone we want.
I think there was someone else that I'll get onto that in a second, but yeah, after I've said my players. So I think, Josh King would be good. Deeney I'd still be pleased with. Is Andre Gray still available? Is he at Watford still?
Yeah, he's still at Watford, as far as I'm aware. I
mean, they're all strikers. Carlin Grant, the aforementioned striker that we're apparently after. We've been after for ages, but
since the start of the transfer window opens.
I'd happily take him. There isn't really anyone else, I don't think, from down there. I would have loved Ollie Watkins, but he's obviously at Villa doing really well.
Yeah.
Ben Rama.
Yeah.
As another attacking option. But if we're looking for strikers, I'd say, Josh King or Troy Deeney, probably. If we're looking at free players, this is what I was chuckling about, because you posted a thing about Danny Welbeck being released by Watford.
Yeah, it's had mixed reviews, I'm not going to lie, on Twitter and Instagram.
I mean, I can understand why he'd be a good signing. Yes, he is a bit, injury prone, as quite a few players.
Since he broke his ankle for Arsenal, he's not been quite the same. He managed 20 games for Watford.
Yeah.
So
not many, is it? But
if we could get him on,
he'd be a good player.
If you could get him in as pay as you play or something like that, a bit like Andy Carroll did, or Jack Wilshere was on a pay as you play type thing. I think that would be a good signing.
But I was chuckling because you posted the thing about Danny Welbeck being available, and then I flicked on Sky Sports and it said Danny Welbeck being interest shown from Crystal Palace, and I was thinking, God damn it! Every player that even that'd be good. It's like Crystal Palace are listening to us.
They must be watching our page and thinking, right, who are the Baggie brothers thinking of, and we're going to go for them.
Damn it! Well, we got to put some dummy names in there then. But people that are available on freeze. Welbeck or Sturridge or both. They're both free.
I wouldn't have Sturridge again. I'm not going to lie.
I mean, a bit unfair to him. He was injured pretty much the whole time we had him.
I know.
But I think when he went over to Turkey, I saw some highlights of him playing over there, and he actually looked like he got a bit of spark back and was scoring quite a few goals. So I know it's a different league, but Welbeck and Sturridge could be an interesting. Get a pair of Daniels up there. I'm a big fan of Daniels, so I wouldn't be against a pair of Daniels up front. They'd be the people I would suggest. What about yourself?
So I was thinking Josh King as well as a striker. And I was also thinking Deeney, Andre Gray, potentially, Welbeck, if we could get him in. I was looking as well around the midfield. I was looking at those sorts of players. And obviously, you still got I know we've not mentioned Norwich much, but you've got Todd Cantwell, who's an absolutely fantastic player. Now, if we got a player like that come in, that would show, I think, Albion fans that, they are.
Show some level of ambition from the owners.
It's showing ambition because he really did star for them in the Premier League as well. Pookie, another one.
Pookie was great at the start of last season. Sort of dipped off towards the end, but
he's another one that I was thinking of.
Not a bad striker.
And you've also got Capoue at Watford. Solid midfielder. I really like him. I just want to bolster up that midfield a bit more. Because although Livermore's our captain and I do rate him, sometimes I just feel like we need someone else in there with him. And Sawyer's at the minute isn't quite stepping up to the mark.
Sawyer's is driving me mad. Every single game that I see him play, I just feel like he doesn't give a shit. Every single game, I feel like it was almost like there's this attitude of like, cool, I'm here now. Well, I'm a Premier League midfielder. And it's like, no, you aren't. You barely proved it in the Championship. Like, step up to the plate. Like, be the player you're supposed to be. And I've said before, but I would more than happily put in one of our boys, do you know what? Put in Harper or Sam Field. Just put them ahead. Just get them in the team and give them a go.
When Sam Field came on at the weekend, I thought he actually played really well.
Field is the man.
I rate him. I always have rated him. I think he's a no-nonsense holding midfielder.
Do you know what I think did Sam Field actually quite a lot of favours? Because Sam Field sort of broke into our team when we had Darren Fletcher. And Darren Fletcher was definitely a big influence on the way he played because Darren Fletcher was quality. And then we've had Gareth Barry as well, and he's played with Gareth Barry. And I think both of those players, like quality Premier League players that have
learning off them,
just learning off them, and they're both just like the way I see him, he's another one of those type players. Like might not have the accolades that both of those two at the end of his career, but I think he, is a similar ilk.
No, and he's one of those players that won't get enough credit where credit's due. I think. So, Sam Field. And actually, going on to this as well, just while we're on the subject of our own boys, I put another thing out on Instagram the other day saying about Owen Windsor.
Yeah, he's been doing bits in the. Do
you know what?
Hasn't he?
When I've watched all the highlights, he just looks like a natural-born goal scorer. He gets in all the right positions. He's not smashing them from here, there, and everywhere like Messi and Ronaldo, but he's very much like a Lineker or a Shearer, just in the right position at the right time, and he finishes them. And I put it out there on Insta saying, what does everybody think? Do you think we should give him a go? And the response was overwhelmingly, yes, give him a go in the team. If we're not going to invest if we're not going to invest in anyone, that's the only option I can see is we've got to turn to our youth. But if you look at it, like Man United, they've put Greenwood in and they've put Rashford in. A few others have done it as well, like with Foden. I know they're a lot better players,
but they're giving their own the chances.
But they're giving,
that's big.
Sometimes youth players will, once they get given that chance, they're like, right, I'm going to take this and snap my hand off. I will run my ass off all game, and I'm going to try my hardest. Whereas someone like Austin maybe will just be plodding around at the top, going, "Oh, fucking hell!"
Why aren't people passing to me? There's a reason people don't pass to you, Austin. It's because you can't score goals. You miss from in front of it. No one's going to give you an option.
Yeah. So I think that might be another option we might have to look at if we're not going to get people in. I would rather Bilic say to the youth, the young lads like Owen Windsor. We've just released our other striker. He's just gone out on loan to Lincoln. I think Lincoln's our second club. We seem to be giving all of our players to them on loan. So
they're a good club, man.
At least they'll get game time in the leagues, won't they? So
yeah, they'll get some good league experience, and then come back when we're back in the championship and break into the first team. So sorted.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, we did have a couple of questions asking about how they think we're going to do in the league. Someone asked what they think we're going to do by Christmas, and someone thought just in general, do you think we're going to get relegated?
Well, on the way I'm looking at it at the minute is I'm going to be quite optimistic. We said we'd give it till like 5 or 6 games in and see where the team's at, see what the signings we've got in are. So I still think we should all just give it a bit of time. Fulham, Burnley, Brighton and Sheffield United all look as bad as us. That's the only thing we've got going for us at the minute, if I was judging it on today. All of them don't look as good. They all look about the same as us. They all look very leaky. They all look not match fit, not up to Premier League standard, which I was surprised at Burnley, because I thought Dye should have had him going, because like we spoke about in one of our first ever videos, he's done really well with the limited resources he's had. So, yeah, I mean, I think if we finish 17th and they offered it us now, everyone would bite everyone's hand off.
Oh, if you look at the next 6 fixtures, like you say, we've got Burnley, we've got Fulham, we've got Brighton, we've got Sheffield. That's 4 teams that we could arguably have good games against.
Yeah,
if we get a striker in before then we could arguably have the upper hand on them, because I don't think we're that bad going forward. And if we've got a goal scorer, we could win some games. But I do fear for the games against Tottenham, Man United, Man City. Yeah,
Christmas Liverpool. For us is awful, isn't it?
Yeah, Christmas is going to be brutal, because we've got Villa and Leeds as well over Christmas, and Arsenal in that sort of.
I know.
Well, yeah, City, Villa, Liverpool, Leeds, and Arsenal over the 2 weeks around Christmas. It's not a great run, is it? That's a shit time.
That's 0 points basically. So we've got to get some before Christmas.
Some up somewhere. I think if by Christmas, if somehow before Christmas we get to, I'm going to pull a number out of nowhere, 15 points.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, we've got to be hitting around that, because by the end of the season we need at least 36, I reckon, to stay up.
Yeah, I mean, and judging how everything's going, like you said a minute ago, judging how every team is playing at the start of this season, it really does look almost like it's open season. Like anyone could possibly have a chance right now. Like Man United getting battered by Tottenham, Liverpool getting battered by Villa, which is just mind blowing.
Yeah,
incredible job by them. No disrespect to Villa, they did a fantastic job. But
yeah, they did. They played well.
And the only I'll be honest, the only team that looks like they're actually any good in the league, any like really good, is to me is Leicester.
There's another one as well that I think looked quite good, as Everton.
Yeah, that's a very good point actually. Yeah, Everton are also looking fantastic. So, I mean, at the moment, I'd pick one of those to win. Yeah, like you say, if we can stay at 17th between now and Christmas, I think we've got a chance of staying up. End of the season, I'm maybe slightly more pessimistic than you about the season. I'm completely the same frame of mind as you. I think give it 10 games, see how we're doing after 10 games. After that game against Sheffield, that's when I will definitely. That's when I will have my opinion. I think we're either going down or we're staying up, and hopefully the team can pull it together. And I do think it really does sort of end up being, if we get a striker, if we get a good goal scorer or 2 goal scorers and manage to shift a load of the deadwood out, we might stand a chance of staying up. But there's a big if at the moment in my eyes.
Yeah, there is a big if. So basically watch this space on that.
Yeah, let's see how we get on.
Let's see by next Friday.
I guess that the next pair of questions, I'm gonna sort of tie this one in together, because this was a lot of people asking the same question, and there were a lot of questions about our chairman, Lai.
Yeah,
I think that's how you pronounce it, Lai. Lai.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of questions about, when will he actually start spending money? What do us as fans expect of him, or what do we expect of him? And, what do we also think of him? And someone also posed a question about, what your thoughts on Slaven Bilic, and, do we think he deserves to still be here? Why do fans think he should be out? And it's, I guess, both of those questions, those threads for questions, I suppose, are quite difficult to sort of really get into, because let's face it, none of us know what goes on behind closed doors at a football club. We have no idea really how much money Liars put into the club. We don't know. We don't see those figures. We don't get a printout at the end of the year saying, cool, well, this is how much our turnover was. But obviously, judging by how our transfers have gone, we can sort of make a fair assessment, but based on what we know as income and what we know as our outgoings, which is where I was going to ask you to step in and talk about the finances that you looked up.
So I had a quick look at it. So the first year he came in, we spent 49 million. And we had
was that just on players?
Just on players coming in. That was on players coming in, and then players going out was 2 million. So that was as I'm looking at it, and then we obviously got relegated that season, didn't we?
Okay, well there you go.
So spending money in the Premier League doesn't always work, but
so the next spending money correctly works.
Yes, yeah. That was the year we signed Ollie Burke. So
nice.
Just as a heads up. But the next year we spent 14 million, and then we had sales of 24 million.
Right. Okay.
So that's a net profit of 10 million already in that year. 1920 we spent 19, and then we had 30 million coming in, so again a net profit of 10 coming in.
Who did we sell to get 30 million? I'm trying to think now.
30 million, I think that was Jay Rodriguez and Rondon. That season with Rondon. Yeah, I think it was maybe. Yeah, they
would have brought us some serious money in, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
That's right. That's right. And then obviously,
where did we get the money from?
This year we've spent just under 23 million, and we've only sold one person, which was Lecco, for $1 million. So in total, we've roughly spent around 105 million since he's taken over,
right?
And we've had 57 million pounds worth of sales in players.
Okay, so about 40 odd mil difference.
Yeah, basically, 40 to 45 mil.
Okay.
Of what he's put in. But then you've got to take into account the money we got getting promoted to the Premier League. That's 140 million rumoured anyway, which is what we will earn this season from going up.
Right, okay.
Then you've also got to take into consideration the 2 parachute payments that we received from the Premier League in 18 and 19 season, which were 40 million and 30 million.
Yeah.
So I'm literally just running it off what I can see and what I can find online and looking down on it. He's not really put his hand in his pocket a lot. Yeah. Basically, is what I'm looking at and what I'm seeing from what I can work out online. I'm no financial advisor, though. I'm no accountant, so I have I'm literally just going off what I could find online.
Yeah. If you looking at those figures and hearing what you've just said, it does seem like he's come out better.
Yes,
and how the club is performing, or performing in sort of buying and selling and making money as a club. Again, obviously, and I think something else that's worth sort of thinking about is obviously due to the current pandemic that's going on in the world, clubs are probably being a little bit. Some clubs like us and probably some other less fortunate clubs financially, maybe someone like Burnley, are being a little bit more stringent and not really spending too much money just in case they need it as a club, because they haven't got massive amounts of income. They're still getting the television revenue coming in, but they're not making ticket sales. They're not, they're not getting all the extra like match day stuff. They're probably not selling as much in, merchandise and stuff like that. It's so there's
programs, everything adds up, doesn't it?
All those little bits and bobs that even if it costs like a $5 on the day, it all adds up, and it all does obviously account to how much money the club makes. So they may be being a bit stringent, like I say, just because they don't know what's going to happen financially for the club and they want to make sure it's okay. But then at the same time, it does make a lot of us as fans sort of sit here and go, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
give us a chance to stay up.
The other thing I don't understand is I know it's a risk, which he did in his first season. He spent money and it didn't pay off. But if we could stay up, it will be financially better for him and more rewarding for him if we were in the Premier League than in the Championship.
Of course.
So he should really be thinking, right, okay, I've got to reinvest in this asset so that I can get more profit out of it. Because surely that's all businesses run, that you want to get more money, don't you, and want to be more profitable every year.
You have to spend money to make money. I mean, that's the most cliche business line out there.
Yeah.
But
I know it's not. You're not buying Poundland toys and stuff like that. You're buying expensive players that could get broken in one tackle. But there's insurances for stuff like that. He's got to start taking a risk, I think, with putting a bit of money on the table.
If you think back to how long ago was it when he bought us?
He bought us at the end of 16. He took over in September 16.
Okay, so that's that would be 5 seasons ago. At the start of this season, right? 4 seasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, there you go. So he's had plenty of time to obviously, and again, I'm saying all of this as if he's got an active involvement in it. He may very well not care, and it's just fashionable for him to own the club.
He's a very wealthy man.
Oh yeah.
Well, I was looking into the figures as well, but
we can get into that in a sec. But yeah, he's been here long enough. He's been running, he's been owning the club for 4 or 5 years. He knows. Would hope that he knows that with to stay in the Premier League, you do actually kind of need to spend money, and not just spend money properly. If you look at like we were saying earlier, you look at the 2 other teams that got promoted, they've made some good signings.
Yeah.
And a great example of spending money correctly. Look at Leicester. Leicester. I don't think Leicester have spent more than maybe 30 or 40 million on any players.
No.
Which compared to the big clubs is, pence. But they always managed to sign good players for a good price. I mean, you look at when they got promoted, they got the players like Kante and Riyad Mahrez for nothing. They were absolute bargain bucket players, and now they're 2 of the best players in the Premier League. Maybe not Mahrez now, but when he was at Leicester, he was incredible. Yeah. And maybe that's what needs to happen. Maybe, I don't know, they need to improve our scouting so we can find better players. But yeah, I think as fans, I think the thing we're getting frustrated at is that he's not fronting the cash. And if he's not going to front the cash and help the club become a Premier League team, and if he's okay with the club being relegated and just sort of pottering around Championship and Premier League, fine, but don't do it at the expense of pissing off the entire fan base of a football club. Go and buy someone else that does that. Go and buy, another different yo-yo team.
Don't be a Mike Ashley, basically.
Yeah, but I think exactly a perfect example of a shit owner.
I think the other thing he's got to look at as well, maybe not him, but someone in the club's got to look at, is our youth players and our youth player policy. Because if you think of the players that have left us on freeze or hardly anything, so you've got Nathan Ferguson this year, you had Louis Barry as well, and then even before that, players like Izzy Brown, they all went for hardly anything.
We haven't actually seen any money from the Louis Barry saga.
No,
I don't think.
Exactly. So, but the thing that frustrates me is there should be someone at the club, probably someone like a Gareth Barry, someone like that, going into the youth team. I think Morrison's involved in the youth team, isn't he?
Yeah,
now?
Yeah, he's part of the
So hopefully he can get through to these younger players and say, look, you're going to get, if you start playing really well, you're going to get offers like Ferguson did. As soon as he heard that Palace or a Premier League club were interested, that was it. He was like, well, I ain't going to play because I don't want to get injured. So it's really frustrating for like West Brom fans, I think, as a general, that our youth players just seem to, we develop them, the few that we manage to develop, into really good players, and then they just go off to a Premier League club as soon as they, rather than a big a club legend, say like a Chris Brunt or a James Morrison, coming down and speaking with them and saying, look, yes, you've got the offers, but have 2 seasons here with us. Get your first team place nailed on, and then you will. Then after that, the fans will respect you a lot more, because if Nathan Ferguson would have been in our Premier League squad this year and starting at right back for us because he signed a new deal, we stayed up for 2 seasons and then we got relegated, and then he said, "Look, I want to leave." A lot of West Brom fans would go, "Fair enough. That's yeah. You've given us 2 seasons. You've done you are a better player than what we can provide for you, and we're not in the Premier League anymore. Go on and do your stuff at Tottenham, wherever you could have gone." But these younger players just seem to get it in their head that as soon as an offer comes in from another club, that, right, I'm going. I don't want to stay here. And that's got to change. Something in the club around that has got to change.
Well, I mean, okay, so if we I mean, the four players that spring to mind are the 3 you mentioned and Berahino. Now, if you look at the context of all 3 of those players leaving, well, Izzy was, there was interest in him from Chelsea, and obviously at the time, I mean, still are, but at the time, Chelsea were a top quality, top 4 English team.
Yeah.
Berahino, when we had him, it was interest from Tottenham, who are and were a very good team.
Yeah.
Louis Barry had interest from Barcelona, who are one of the best teams in the world. Nathan Ferguson had interest in Crystal Palace, so that might not prove my theory right, but I think obviously the teams that the players that we're on about are being picked up by teams that are, no beating around the bush, a lot better than us.
Yeah.
Much bigger clubs than us. And I can definitely understand why a player, a 15-year-old like Louis was 15 years old and Barcelona want him. Yeah, of course he's going to go. Barcelona, Lionel Messi plays for Barcelona. I want to be Lionel Messi. Yeah, cool, I'm going. Izzy gets interest from Chelsea. Yeah, sure, I want to go. Saido got interest from Tottenham, and it was pretty much him just saying, well, I want to go. And I think maybe since the Berahino thing, there's been a little bit of a... I might be talking out my arse here, by the way, but I feel like there's been a little bit of a... Because there was such a palaver over his transfer, the board and the way the club's being run, they are being a bit more like, okay, well, if they want to go, let them go. We don't need another debacle like that. So maybe there's a bit of that. I could be talking complete shit. But yeah, you're completely right, though. I do agree. Like, do you
not think if you were... I know it's different, obviously, for us because we're West Brom fans, but if I had someone at the club that was... If I'd been at the club, like, my whole youth career, and then James Morrison, who I've seen play over 500 times for West Brom, comes up to me and says, "Oh, look, you're a really good player. We'd love you to stay on a bit longer, though. Give us a couple of years, blah, blah, blah. And this is the reason why it's going to make your career better." Surely that's going to...
I get that. And I kind of do... We're slightly going on a tangent here from the whole, what do we think of the owners?
Yeah.
I do, but we'll bring it back round, don't you worry. But I have this conversation with a few people. Like, if you and I'll ask you now, like, if you became a professional footballer and you played for West Brom, can you guarantee that you would play for them your entire career? Because I know, thinking now at 30, I would quite happily say yes, I would love to be a one club man and play for West Brom my entire career. But you can't say that about certain people. Even if whether they've come through the ranks or not, they might get the, if a top club comes sniffing for them, there's an agent involved, there's a club involved, the club might be choosing to get rid of the players, you don't know. But yeah, would you stay at West Brom your entire life? Say you were a West Brom player and at 18, Real Madrid showed interest in you.
Of course it's going to make you think, isn't it? I know it is, but... It's
a really hard thing to even answer, really, because...
Yeah.
How do you turn down Real Madrid?
I know what you're saying.
One of the best clubs in Europe for West Brom, and that's not me having a dig at the club because we love the team, but it's a hard decision for the youth players to make. So I guess to sort of bring it back to what do we think of how the club's being running and how we think Lai's doing. He needs to start putting his money where his mouth is and actually start investing in the club properly and trying to get us. Give us a chance to stay up. But yeah, there needs to be something done about, retention as well.
Yeah. And
keeping our best youth players in so that in 3 or 4 years' time, if we are still in the Prem, we've got a wealth of talent there and we've got our, our first team sorted.
Yeah.
I think that's an important thing to think of.
Yeah, exactly. And on the whole Bilic thing as well, because that was the other question that was asked in there, wasn't it? I mean, yes, tactically at the weekend, a few people did raise concerns, and I did think as well, why are you doing that? But for him to get that team that we had in the Championship promoted, I thought was a bloody good effort. With the players, if you honestly look at the strikers we had, we didn't have Dwight Gale, we didn't have Rodriguez, we didn't have a solid striker that scored loads of goals. So for him to have done what he did with our squad, I thought was near on impossible, but he managed it. He's managed at the top level now for God knows how many years.
Forever. Yeah.
The thing I like about him, he doesn't seem to take a lot of shit either.
Yeah,
he's not a manager, a bit like if you can look at Southgate for England. He doesn't manage situations like that. He will say it how it is, and he won't pitter-patter around questions, or he will just say it how it is.
My favourite Slavan clip, I don't know if you've seen it, it's him from the World Cup in Russia, and I can't remember what the teams were, but on BBC, someone asked him, like, what do you think of it? He says, I don't care. He's just like, well, frankly, I don't care. And I just thought it was amazing. Summed him up.
Yeah. No, I don't think. And the other thing you've got to look at it is, who the hell are we going to get in that's going to do a better job at this minute in time with the squad we've got?
No one.
I don't see anyone.
Manager.
I don't see anyone coming in and making the group of players we've got play any better.
Pochettino.
He's going to go to United.
Yeah, of course.
So
we'll get Solskjaer then.
Yeah, we'll get Solskjaer in. No, the only other. Well, no, I don't want Bilic to be sacked. If I'm completely honest, we had a few discussions. We had to chat about it, didn't we? A couple of episodes ago. I mentioned Derek McInnes. Maybe
we mentioned Chris Hughton, but I think he's just taken a job on at Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, I think he has.
Might be yeah, I can't think of anyone that would be a good replacement for him. And again, I think it's I think as West Brom fans we can be a little bit short-tempered. Might not be the right phrase.
I mean, yeah. No, we are, because if you look at me after all of the games, I'm usually really fucked off because we've lost. Yeah. And I just go on a massive rant, and then I look back at it and go, do you know what? Everton, we didn't actually play that badly. Yeah. Chelsea, we got a point at Chelsea. Against Chelsea. That's if you just offered that us before the game, that's brilliant. Yes, I know we let 3 goals in, but still. And the Leicester game as well, we didn't play that badly until the 2 penalties got conceded.
Yeah.
So, but as West Brom fans, we just tend to explode because we're all pissed off because we've not got the points. Yeah. Which is understandable because we're all passionate fans.
Yeah, I do notice with us. Yeah, like I say, like on social media, especially because social media is such a strange thing as if you really think about it. But a lot of people, obviously, they get their opinion out, and a lot of it can be negative. And I think it's unfair, especially at this point in the season, to we're 4 games in to start going, no, Bilic out. Get rid of him. I think that's borderline ridiculous that anybody would be calling for him to get sacked now, because he's managed
massively.
Yes, he's only managed to get 1 point out of those 4 games, but we've had tough opponents.
Again, I would personally say
Judge Bilic. Games.
Yeah, I'd say Judge Bilic just before December.
Yeah, give him a chance against each club once. Give him those 19 games.
And the other thing you've got to look at as well.
Yeah, go on.
He hasn't actually been. Are any of the players coming in his signings? From what I've read, Dean Garner and Pereira and Kravinovic were the only ones that he wanted in.
Yeah.
All the others were someone else's signings. Whoever else is it Luke Downing? Is it someone like that? That's making these signings. So the players he wants, he's not getting. So I think it's unfair on him as well.
There's another aspect to thinking about that is, everyone's sort of thinking, oh, Bilic out, but is Bilic likely to turn around and go, well, no one seems to have my back at this club. I've asked for this amount of money. No one's letting me spend it. I haven't been able to get good enough players, and that's a result of you guys not giving me the cash. So see you later. Good luck. I'm going to go somewhere else where they want me. I think that's more realistic.
Someone put that on one of our social media feeds, saying that he'd be gobsmacked if Bilic doesn't actually walk after this abysmal transfer window, which I kind of agree with.
It's not been
I hope he doesn't. Yeah, I hope he doesn't go, and I hope he stays, and I hope he can keep us up because, I don't think we can get a better manager, if I'm completely honest. So
we'd be hard pressed to at this current time, I think.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for listening to us answer your questions. Apologies, we've waffled a little bit. This appears to be quite a long episode. So if you've stayed to the end, thank you so much. If you have made it to the end, you'd do us an absolute favor by clicking that subscribe button. Clicking like on the video as well would do us a huge favor. So thank you again if you've managed to make it this way. And of course, please subscribe and follow our social media pages, which are on the screen right now. Anything else to add, Adam?
No, just hopefully, we're going to start doing more videos again. We'll pick that up. And again, apologies for that. So, we'll pick it up and we'll start getting some more content out for you guys. And, thanks for the questions as well. Really appreciate all the questions that we get coming in. It's nice to interact with people and talk about our amazing club.
Yeah, thank you very much, everyone. We will see you. Definitely, we'll see you at least once, maybe twice before the Burnley game. And then hopefully we'll catch up with you just after that match, and we'll see how we got on. Hopefully, we'll be collecting 3 points. Nice one. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, guys.